Hello and welcome. I'm Cruzat. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. I'm super excited to be sharing this story with you guys today. I had the most exciting lucid dream last night. Well, technically this morning, I guess. But it was super exciting and really fun. And I actually thought I was astral projecting at first, but then after I woke up, I realized it was definitely a dream because a lot of the things that happened didn't make sense for an astral projection, which I will get into in a second. For those of you that do not know what lucid dreaming is, long story short, I'm not gonna explain it super in depth, but long story short is that it is when you are aware that you are dreaming and you are in control of yourself and you can actually change the things that are going on and like control your, the movements that you're doing and things like that. So, story time, everyone. Kind of interesting because I wasn't necessarily aware that I was in a dream. I thought I was astral projecting, but I was in control of my body and in control of the things that I was doing, which was really, really cool. So I'm super excited to share the story with you guys. I hope you enjoy. Let me know in the comments if you guys, I'd love to hear some of your lucid dream stories. The reason why I thought I was astral projecting is because at first, I was actually trying to astral project. So I was listening to a meditation at night to fully relax my body. And then
I think I actually fell asleep
and wasn't able to astral project, but then I woke up at around, I want to say like 5 in the morning, and went back to sleep and tried to get myself back into the vibrational state, which I did reach before as well. And I reached the vibrational stage pretty frequently during meditation, which is awesome. It's a really weird and interesting feeling. But yeah, so I reached the vibration state, and so I thought I was gonna astral project, but then I think I fell asleep and started dreaming, because essentially what happened is I used the rollout technique to pop out of my body. But again, this was a dream. But I popped out of my body and I rolled out, and then I got up, but it was weird because I was standing and I was like, that's kind of weird. I don't feel like you normally stand when you astral project. I normally float. I don't know if other people have stood when they're astral projecting, but I normally float and fly. But I was like, I'm standing, this is weird. But I can see my body and I can see my boyfriend's body and I see my dog all laying in the bed because it was actually daylight, so I could actually like pretty well see everything. And so that was really interesting. Then I was like, oh, well, I can just start flying. That's totally up to me. So I just start flying around my room for a second, just kind of floating around. And then I look out my window and I see a group of people, and they're all like telling me like, come on, there's like people like floating around out my window, like telling me like, come on, like come out and play with us. I didn't catch that they were saying like, come out and play with us. It was more so just like, come. And it kind of freaked me out for some reason. I don't really know why looking back. And then I was like, no, I'm good. And they were like, okay, we'll come up to you. And I was like, no. So I start floating out to my living room and come out to make sure that the door is locked. And sure enough, the door is jarred slightly open, which I'm like, that's freaking weird. But our roommate came to bed after us. So I was like, okay, maybe he left it open for some reason. So I go to close the door. I can close the door perfectly fine. And then for some reason, I don't have full control of my hand and my fingers and wrists. It was super strange. So I couldn't lock the door. So I go floating back to my boyfriend, flying, not really floating because it was pretty quick. And I go back to my boyfriend and I'm like, you have to go lock the door. People are coming up here. I don't know who they are. And the weird part is everyone I saw in this dream, they seemed like they knew me, but I was like, I don't recognize you at all. And so he's like, okay, I'll lock the door. And then all of a sudden I turn and this is what should have been my first hint that this was an astral projection. I see someone that I somewhat dated for a while, years back. I haven't thought of him in forever, haven't spoken to him in forever, won't give any names. And
I'm like, what are you doing here?
I'm like, that's weird. I was like, I don't know, maybe he's astral projecting to that is just so strange. And it freaks me out. So I'm like, well, you know what? I can fly out of this situation. So I fly up and I fly through the ceiling. And this should have been my second hint that it was an astral projection. I couldn't feel the same resistance that I normally feel in astral projection. I don't want to call it resistance because it's not really resistance, but you can feel the layers of what you're going through. It's again very hard to explain unless you've experienced it. It's very hard to explain, but it's just different than what you kind of normally expect. And in this scenario, it was kind of what I normally would have expected pre-astral projecting, that you kind of just easily float through things and don't feel it at all. It's just in and out as if it's as if, you know, you're a ghost and just have no physicality to you. So I float through the first ceiling and up to that first floor above us, and it's super strange because it looks exactly like our apartment. I'm like, did I just float through our apartment? I was very confused. And then I started floating up again. So again, should have been another hint that it wasn't an astral projection. And then I floated up to the next floor, and that apartment actually looked different, like someone else's apartment. And I was like, okay, well, I want to like go fly around. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go float up to the roof. So I float up to the roof, and I float like through this fan thing, which does not exist on our roof, at least that I'm aware of. And I float through that, and then there's a bunch of people just flying and floating and playing and having fun. And then I look, and like over the roof, so not actually like on the roof, is nets and trampolines. So they looked like they were just kind of like floating in the air. And sorry, I have something in my eye and I keep messing with it, but I don't know, it's probably dog hair or something. And I see these trampolines and I see these nets just like floating over, you know, the rooftop area, but not on the roof, just like kind of over the edge of it. And I'm kind of like going off this one part of the roof, and I'm just like, this is so fun. And then I just start doing like flips and like weird little ballet moves, and just really taking, you know, it in that I can fly and kind of do whatever I want with my body. And man, I was enjoying it. It was incredible. And this whole area of people like playing and having fun, like it looks like the most epic party of all time. There's people flying around, people like jumping off the trampolines and then doing flips and then flying. It was incredible. I don't even know how to describe it. Honestly, a dream world, which it was, but seriously, like a dream world. And I then I then fly over to closer to the trampoline area and net area, and there's actually a sign that says only for experienced flyers and kids only, or you get the point. And so I'm like, okay, interesting, all right. And then I see a toddler who looks like she's like 1.5, doing like flips off the trampolines. I was like, that makes no sense. And then she lands on the net, she just kind of sits there, and then she like actually looks like a toddler because she's, you know, what toddler can do, like somersaults and stuff. Then she sits there, and then I see what looks like it's like her little sister, or her bigger sister, who looks like she's like, I don't know, 5. And it was super weird because there was like a woman like announcing as all of this was going on, like, there she goes, as if this was like a soccer game or something. And she's announcing it, and so then the other girl starts going and doing flips, and it's really cool. But then, you know, she's not super great at it yet either because they're both so little. And so she lands, and I'm like so nervous that she's like about to land on her sister, and she gets so close to her. I was like, oh my gosh, she got so close to her, like she could have hurt her. But I look at their parent, and he looks completely fine about it. So I'm like, okay, I guess I shouldn't be worried. I guess we're okay here. And then I woke up, and at first I was like, wow, that was the coolest astral projection ever. I don't think this was an astral projection because nothing was reality. Unless, you know, maybe I did astral project into some parallel universe of some place that doesn't even exist closely to the way we exist. Because like I said, it did pop out of my body. But yeah, that's my story. I don't know if that's super interesting for you guys or not, but honestly, this just dream party. I want to go back there. I want to go fly around with all these people. And it was also really weird because all these people, you know, seemed like they knew me, but I was like, I don't know who you guys are. I've never seen you before. So it was really interesting. But yeah, I'm really curious about your guys' stories. So if you're watching this, you know, let me know some of the stories that you have. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you're enjoying this content. I would love to make more. I'd love to be able to, you know, have you guys be able to still find me. And enjoy your days. Love and light and peace. Okay.